Perfectionism dwells in every fiber of my being. There's just something so pure about getting everything correct. It compels me. From a young age, my self-worth began to rest in the approval and praise of a job perfectly done. However, I grew highly self-critical, and I developed a fear of failure. I saw mistakes as devastating setbacks. The first person to help me recognize the harm in my unhealthy perfectionism was my 5th grade teacher, Mr. Andrews. Mr. Andrews actually believed in the beauty of mistakes. He taught my 5th grade class that mistakes were inevitable and important. To demonstrate this, he would tally his own mistakes on the front whiteboard throughout the year. Mr. Andrews had done this for each of his classes, and he still continues to do so. Here's his mistakes board from this school year. As you can see, he's already at 76. I remember my classmates shouting, "That's a mistake," when Mr. Andrews multiplied 6 times 8 as 42. He would laugh at himself and then willingly slash another mark besides the tens of other times he had messed up that year. By embracing his mistakes in front of my class, Mr. Andrews showed me how to be forgiving of myself and my learning. Because my 5th grade teacher normalized mistakes, I worked to grow out of my unhealthy perfectionism. Now, I'm able to put myself in environments that glorify flawlessness without tearing down my self-worth. I play tennis, the sport that's literally called the game of errors. I study vocal performance, the craft with the mantra, "Practice makes perfect." I have goals to pursue law, the career path that requires precision. Despite still facing my own perfectionism, I can handle the pressure and thrive. I give a lot of thanks to Mr. Andrews for nurturing my 5th grade self away from the fear of failure. Here's a picture of us together before my high school graduation. Aren't we cute? I've grown into the person I am today because of the seed he planted years ago. We spend the most formative years of our lives with our educators. Because of that, they have the power to become some of our greatest mentors. The time I've spent in the classroom has led me to understand that education isn't solely about academic achievement. It involves equipping students with the knowledge, values, and confidence to lead meaningful lives. I once heard a beautiful analogy for the impact of an educator. I actually heard it from Mr. Walma, a close family friend who recently retired from the classroom. He said the relationship between an educator and a student is like growing bamboo. And I'll explain what he means. When bamboo is first planted, it requires 4 years of careful nurturing, watering, and sunlight. During this time period, the bamboo root system establishes underground. However, no growth is visible above ground. In the 5th year, the bamboo finally shoots upward. It takes only 60 days for the plant to grow nearly 80 feet tall. In fact, the plant can grow 6 inches in 1 day. But that growth is only possible because of the strong, fully developed root system underground. The roots stabilize and anchor the plant in place. Nurturing bamboo requires patience and time, but because of that, bamboo is an incredibly rewarding plant to grow. Mr. Walma now works in athletics at Hope College. Here's a picture of his office. Every day, Mr. Walma reminds himself of his vocation and of the individuals who are reaped from it. I've known the positive impact of an educator as early as elementary school, but the bamboo analogy became especially apparent to me during high school. My teacher's commitment to providing quality education often extended well beyond my time spent in the classroom. They invested their personal time and energy to ensure I had a community of support. My educators took time to have meaningful conversations with me. They showed up to my tennis matches and choir performances. They had patience with my individual growth and continued to challenge my character. My high school educators' impact delves deep beyond the surface level. I've actually stayed in touch with many of them as they've become dear friends. Their intentional nurturing has allowed me to develop my own root system, which anchors me in place to this day. Most significantly, though, one of my educators became a part of my testimony. My senior year of high school was the most challenging year of my life. I experienced a series of traumatic events that altered how I viewed myself and the world around me. Success in academics, athletics, and extracurriculars became an impossible task amongst the battles I faced with depression and anxiety. My physical strength deteriorated with my mental strength, and at my worst, I lost 11 pounds in 8 days. Suicidal thoughts became ever present in my mind, and thoughts soon turned into plans. But I'm here today, speaking in front of all of you, because of my persistent and caring educators. I found the courage to open up to one of my educators, Mrs. Bullheis, about my struggles. Because she had taken time to invest in me early in my high school career, I trusted my reality with her. She was the first person to whom I admitted I wanted to take my own life. She immediately took action. She set me up with a licensed therapist and accommodated a productive school schedule that was suitable for my healing journey. Mrs. Bullheis continued to check in and provide the support I desperately needed. She patiently stood by my side for the entirety of the year. Eventually, like growing bamboo, Mrs. Bullheis saw the fruit of her labor. Her contributions to my academic success allowed me to graduate as an AP scholar and salutatorian. On top of that, I regained my physical strength and I was able to compete in the tennis state finals at the end of the year. I went on to continue my academics and athletics at Hope College. I now see value, hope, and a future in my own life, just as Mrs. Bullheis did. I'm increasingly grateful for educators. They spend so much time with students, and because of that, they have the ability to make great impacts. I'm especially grateful for Mr. Andrews and Mrs. Bullheis, who played a significant role in my journey. Just like a well-cared-for bamboo seed, my educator's caring presence will allow me to continue growing exponentially. I'm sure most of us here could think of an educator who's impacted them for good. And if you're lucky like me, you can name quite a few. While it's undeniable that our educators have a significant role in our upbringing, the challenges they face have reached a critical juncture. In contrast to the enduring positive impacts of educators, recent trends show that the teaching profession is facing numerous challenges. According to the Pew Research Center, the number of students receiving degrees in education decreased by 50% within the last 5 decades. Concerns about salary and working conditions continue to turn prospective educators away. Obvious fears regarding school shootings demoralizes educators. Additionally, the current state of our political and cultural world, amidst the culture wars, forces educators into the spotlight. Recent statistics found that there is an overall lack of trust and respect for what teachers bring into the classroom. A national survey from the Center of Applied Research in Education from the University of Southern California found that 6 out of 10 American parents think they should be able to opt children out of school lessons that include content they find disagreeable. On top of that, teaching in the post-COVID-19 classroom presents its own set of challenges. Educators must cater to students with various needs, which have only diversified after the pandemic. I have seen students face various pandemic-related academic, behavioral, and emotional setbacks. I can only imagine how these new challenges have made education an increasingly demanding job. Many of our educators are pushed to the limit. The National Education Association found that 55% of our educators want to leave the classroom altogether. Many have. According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, more than 300,000 public school teachers and staff have left the classroom between February of 2020 and May of 2022. Schools are left with vacancies as the pipeline of teachers has dried up. As a result, 3/4 of educators have had to take up additional work due to staff shortages. And still, they aren't compensated sufficiently for their work. We have a crisis on our hands, and the stakes are high. We can't afford to lose the very people who support and invest in our youth every day. And right now, especially, our youth need that support. The CDC reported that within a decade, adolescent depression and suicide rates both increased by 60%. An analysis from millions of U.S. hospitals found that pediatric self-harm hospitalizations increased by 163%. These statistics are gut-wrenching. But take a look at my testimony and see that schools have become a place for students to receive the help they need. Teachers are often the first adults to notice signs that point to mental health crises in students. They are in critical positions to intervene. Our future depends upon the presence of our educators. Without careful nurturing, bamboo cannot grow. In order to aid this pressing issue, we must act today. You don't need to be a superhero to make a difference. You can start by simply thanking your educators. Reach out to a teacher who challenged you, encouraged you, or guided you. Donate supplies like tissues, pencils, and hand sanitizers to classrooms. The cost of those items majorly come out of teachers' pockets. Reach out to your school board and get involved. Suggest to establish district policies that advocate for teachers and their expertise in the classroom. Continue to inform yourself and others in your community about the increasing difficulties in the education field. We owe a debt of gratitude to our educators, and I encourage you to do your part to show your appreciation. Educators, I want to remind you that you are nurturing bamboo. Although you may not see the fruit of your labor for years, your work matters. Because of what you do every day, today's youth will grow into the leaders, creators, and peacemakers we need both now and in the future. So let's invest in education as our educators have invested in us. Thank you.